Hello and welcome to the Voice of Intuition podcast. My name is Susan Jane and I believe that trusting your intuition is the best way to live your life with meaning and purpose. Each week you will hear about how you can connect, develop and trust your intuition through the wonderful array of guests we have on the show and my own personal experiences. Join me to understand how your intuition can guide you towards a life full of meaning and loving purpose. Hello and welcome to the Voice of Intuition podcast. My name is Susan Jane and I'm your host for the podcast. Welcome on board. Welcome this week. We have got the lovely Carolina on today. Now, Carolina, look, she has this amazing book. I've got to tell you all about this book. And we're actually going to be talking about it because it's a recipe book. And, like straight away, as soon as I saw it, it's like, oh, it's called A Piece of Cake. And I'm thinking, oh, no, I'm not a recipe person. I am not a chef. I am not even a very good cook. I'm just not good in the kitchen. Well, not for cooking anyway. So this is what's going to be really interesting in it because it's a play on words and it's really, really well done. I'm really excited about it. I think you're going to get a lot out of this. So you're going to listen to this one. This is going to help you transform your dreams into reality because it's a recipe. It's a recipe book. It's going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm really excited about this. But first of all, let's bring on Carolina because I'm talking too much again. Welcome, Carolina.
Hello, namaste. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It is our pleasure because, I'll put it this way. Probably my personality or my star sign, I'm not really sure what it is. I struggle to follow recipes. I am not a good cook, so I really should follow recipes, but I don't. And I'm one of those people that'll go, oh, yeah, look, that's enough. If it says 500 grams of this, oh, that's enough. Let's just chuck anything in. Consequently, I managed to stuff up a lot of my meals. And that's probably my excuse so I don't have to cook. But what I really like about your book, and I don't normally have guests on where we talk about one thing. I've done it a couple of times because I've really liked what they've had to say and what they've got. And that's the same with your book. I really like how you have put this forward and what it's all about. So I'm excited about talking about your book. But first of all, what I need to do is get an understanding of who you are, where you've come from, why you're where you're at, before we even touch the book. All right, so I want to know about you. Who are you, Carolina?
Yeah, so nice to meet you. My name is Carolina Ayala. I'm a holistic life coach. I help people to improve their life through the knowledge of energy. I focus on stress management and how you can transform your dreams into reality. And it's all about a mindset and to be able to have these steps to follow, like everything in life. It's amazing how Susan is saying that she's not into the kitchen. Me neither. Me neither, but I can follow a recipe. If you give me the recipe, I will follow. So that's why I call the book, It is a Piece of Cake. Because if you can follow the recipe, you will get the results. So that's part of the beauty of this, right? That with energy, if we understand the behind the scenes of the energy, we are able to help our life to move forward the way that we want it.
Okay, that sounds good, but I think you've brushed over a little bit, Carolina, because to start with, you have this wonderful accent, and I want to get a little bit more about your background. Where did you grow up? What did you do?
I'm from Venezuela, and I used to work on an investment bank, and that's a really stressful environment, at least for me, right? I love it, but it was not so good for me in many levels, physically, emotionally, mentally. I was always worried. So at some point I said, I have to do something different, right? So in my mind, to change the scenario will be good enough. So I moved from Venezuela to the US to do an MBA program. Guess what? An MBA program is a lot of stress too, right? A different kind of stress, but a lot of stress. So I finished my MBA program, super happy with that, but still there was something inside of me that it should be something else in life, that you can achieve the things in your life without this level of stress or anxiety in everything that you do. And that's the moment when I got into connection with pranic healing. Pranic healing is an energy healing technique that help you to use energy to improve your life. So with time, I transfer from corporate to do what I love, which is helping people to move forward using energy.
Okay. So pranic energy, can we just go down a little bit deeper in that? Because obviously it's that learning and that understanding that you've got that's helped you create this book. So what is pranic energy? A little bit more about that, please.
Yeah. Yes, totally. Pranic healing is an energy healing technique and it is a system. So you will learn how to use energy in the different areas of your life. Everybody can learn that. It's super simple. And the principle is that energy follows your intention, right? And that we all are connected and we are all have the ability to transform the energy, right? So that's what they say. Whatever you focus on, you will manifest. It will manifest and materialize in your life. So that's the first step. So in pranic healing, they teach you how to do self-healing, how to heal your business, how to heal your life in different areas. So it's the technique itself. And based on that knowledge of energy, I combine it with my knowledge of, the business and everything, and how we can make it simple, right? And that's part of what I do.
Okay, so now let me see if I'm getting this right. So you were in corporate business, and it was like, like it's always a goal. That's always our physical goal, isn't it? And we get to where we need to be, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? It's physically maybe good, but it's not feeding the soul. It's not. Yeah, it's not achieving our emotional aspect, maybe even our mental aspect to somehow, to some degree. So you've come across pranic healing, and you've started to do that. Now, when you're doing your life coaching and things like that, are you using the basics of pranic healing,
Yes,
or are you bringing in other tools as well?
yes, I bring other tools, but the main technique is pranic healing because in pranic healing I found everything that I need. So I'm so excited that I want to share with everybody. And they are really simple. Well, there are simple techniques and techniques that you can use and develop yourself. But it's everything about how the awareness of the energy, right? That everything is energy. And if everything is energy, and if we use the energy in the right way, we are able to fulfill our dreams, right? To make it better, happier, faster. So that's why the baseline of everything that I do is pranic healing.
Okay, cool. That's good because that gives us an understanding of where we're going. Now, with your book, that you talk about there's 7 steps in the book, a 7-step approach.
Yes.
Now, when you started writing your book, were you? I know when I was writing my book, I felt like I was getting a lot of downloads, what I call downloads. So a lot of information that was coming through that sort of didn't really necessarily make sense, but you were receiving that energy and you started to work with it and get an understanding of it. How did you start writing your book? How did it all come about?
Well, one of the teachings in Pranic Healing that I love is to keep it simple, right? So I started, I have all this download of information. Say, oh, maybe this, maybe that. And then I start like dividing the thought forms into sections until I say, okay, but in reality, if I have to put it on a process, step by step, how can I reorganize all this? And that's how it came out, like 7 steps. Those are the basic ones that you have to use to be able to manifest. Yes, it was not easy to say stop, that's it, right? Because you always get more information, oh, maybe this example, or maybe this, maybe that. But I think that is good enough for people to have an idea and to start thinking about it and create their own depth in the step. So I'm very happy about it, right? Of course, I already have more idea for a next book or something, but
Yes.
it is.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean because I've got 3 on the run at the moment too, which I shouldn't be doing. But again, like you're saying, with it as a recipe, as a process, there is no reason why we can't change things up. I mean, we've got so many. When you think about cooking recipes, there's so many recipes for even one thing, like white Christmas. What is that? And we can use it so many different ways. So there is a lot of ability to move and flow and to test some of it as we go.
Yes.
I like the taste of this, but I don't necessarily like the taste of that. However, with your piece of cake, we really do have to test them. And you may not like some of the jobs you have to do or the things you add to your recipe, but
Yeah.
you still need to go through them because it is part of that process. And you do that to start with, and then you can start to change it, just like any recipe book, really,
Exactly. Exactly.
unless you're me and then you really stuff it up. So you read the book again and again and again and again. All right, so we're going to have a look at your piece of cake. Now, what I want to do is get an understanding of just if you can just brush over the 7 steps. And
Yeah.
then I'd like to go in a little bit deeper
Okay.
without giving it all away because it
Yeah.
is a book,
Yeah.
without giving it all away. But in the same token, Carolina, when we are giving this information, it allows people to connect with us and it allows them to sort of go, well, you know what, I want the book because a lot of us, like me, I love books and I love to be able to get a little bit more information out of them. It's great to hear it on a podcast, but I like to look at the words as well and really absorb it and get an understanding of it. So I am going to encourage people to buy your book. But first
Thank
of
you.
all, have a listen, see if it suits you. All right, what are the basics for the 7 steps?
Very good. So the 7 steps, we have to start. Step number 1 is clarity. Okay. Step number 2 is being able to have a vision of that you want. Step number 3 is create awareness. Step number 4 is the right focus. Step number 5 is when we start taking action and make decisions. Step number 6, action, action, action. Step number 7 is celebrate because sometimes we achieve things, but we don't celebrate our success. So that's a big summary of the 7 steps.
Okay, I missed a couple because I'm writing them down so I can
Okay.
ask questions.
Uh-huh. Very
What was
good.
number 1?
Clarity.
Clarity. Oh, beautiful. Okay,
Yes.
clarity. Then we
Yes.
had mission. Then we had
Vision.
create awareness.
Uh-huh. Then we
What was number 4?
have right focus.
Oh, focus. Okay,
Mhm.
beautiful. Then action,
Decision, actions,
decision. That's it.
celebration.
Action and decision. That's right. Because
Yeah.
that's where intuition really jumps in. Then
Yes.
action, action, and then celebrate.
Yes. And then celebrate.
Cool. Okay.
Super good.
And you know what? When people structure a book like that, it gives you, when you're starting to look at, say, that the chapters, it gives you an understanding straight away of where you're starting from and where you're going to. And I really like how that pans out. I am a little bit of a nerd when it comes to structure and stuff like that. So yeah, so I really like that. All right, let's start. What does clarity mean? Number 1.
Yeah, well, clarity means to know what you want, right? Most of the time we say, yes, 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 I know what I want. I want to be happy, for example, right? But happiness is such a big concept that you have to understand what happiness means for you. And in that clarity, you have to be aware of what is your why you want to have this in life, why you want to be prosperous, why you want to be healthy, why you want to be happy. So it's not only to know what you want, but why you want that in your life. Okay.
Okay, so when we're doing something like that,
Mhm.
again, we're sort of really brushing over it because it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I want this, and how would we really solidify that? What's the best way, or what would you do, or how did you solidify your why and your clarity?
Yeah. At the beginning, the first thing that I do is when I have a big concept, for example, I want to be happy. Then I do bullet points, right? What happiness mean for me? So I kind of create my own definition of happiness. So happiness mean, I don't know, travel. And happiness mean have amazing conversations. And happiness mean, I don't know, if you want a family to have kids and a dog and a big house. How big is the house? So what it is that you want, right? I want to be prosperous, but what is prosperity for you? $100, $1 million? I don't know, because it's different for each one of us. So the first thing is to really do bullet points about what it is that means for you, how it will look like if you have the ability to put it into practicality, right? And then based on that, right, you have to really understand there are certain things that we can control and certain things that we cannot control. Because sometimes with clarity, we want everybody to agree into what it is that you want, right? But the most important thing is self-acceptance and understand this is what really, really make me happy. This is what I mean when I say health. This is what I mean. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's important to have that in mind. What is important for me? So then it comes the why. Why I want to be healthy? Well, because I want to enjoy life with my kids. I want to be able to see my grandkids, right? Why you want to be healthy? Oh, because I know that this trip is coming. I want to be able to enjoy it. I don't know. It depends on you, right? But it's important what you want, have more or less an idea how that will look like, and why is so important for you, because that will be the motivation, the energy that will help you to keep moving forward when you feel like you cannot keep doing it. Okay.
Okay, now I have to really point something out here, because this is what I really noticed in what you said, Carolina. It was the fact that, okay, getting an understanding of what it is you want, which is fine, is to get that clarity.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to the why, you know what you said, and I don't think you realize what you said. Everything you said about that why was positive.
Oh yes,
Okay,
that's
yes,
totally love that you got it, because the why has to be something positive, because
yes.
energetically that's comes also together with the next step, which is the vision, right? It has to be positive, but why? Because
Because
the
most
universe.
people will go, I want money because I don't have any. And they
Oh,
go
I don't want to
incredibly
be poor.
negative.
Oh, I don't want to suffer. No, 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 no. We have always energetically the best way to achieve your dreams is to go to the positive side. Everything, yes, you can define it as what I don't want, but the universe do not understand I don't. And
Yes,
everything that you say after I am, you will become. So we better choose right? So it's true. All the whys have to be in a positive note, you know,
yes,
what you want.
yes.
And even though sometimes we think about it, like you say, oh, I want money because I don't want to struggle. But you think internally and say, how can I make that positive? Well, I want more money because I want to be able to be generous and help other people, right? That means that you're not struggling, right? But you're saying it in a positive energy. And that's the big
Yes.
deal. Yes.
Yes, thank you. And I needed to point that out, because
Thank you.
too easy, people will go straight to that negatives.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when you're thinking about it, when people say what you want, straight away you two tend to go to the negatives. Like if somebody says to me, what do you want? I'll say, oh, a holiday. It's because I'm stressed out. I'm moving home. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But
Yeah.
I don't want to say that. I just want to go, I want a holiday. I want a tropical island holiday, and I want pina coladas every day. No, I like a different one. But this is how we're often programmed, is because we're sitting in something we don't like,
Yeah.
and that's what we tend to focus. So what do you want? Oh, well, I don't want that, and I don't want that.
Because we are so easy to identify what we don't want, but
Yes,
it's not the same as to identify what you really want.
yes,
And
yes,
that's a shift. That's part of the shift in the mindset, right? Instead
yeah,
of focusing on what you don't want, okay, we know that. We all know what we don't want. What you don't like, we know. But what about what you really like? Sometimes you will be surprised. People say, I don't know. And that's okay too. That's okay. That means that you are creating that vibration. That means now I have to figure it out. Now I have to see what it is that I really want in my life. And that's a spark of energy in you.
yeah. And honestly, as far as this interview goes, if they just take that home, they're going to be ahead of everything anyway,
Yeah.
because it's so important that first step is getting that understanding that every time you say, I don't want this, I don't like that, you're actually attracting that energy.
Yes.
So I love that. Thank you so much. That was really cool. We're already 8 steps ahead, and we've only got 7 to do. All right, number 2, mission. What was the mission one about?
The vision means that you have to be able to visualize and to create energetically, meaning daydream about what you really want, right? In the step number 1, you have the clarity and you say, this is what I want. Now you have to put yourself into that vision. Feel how it will feel if you're doing that, if you're taking the vacation in the beach with your pina colada, I don't know, whatever you want in that trip, right? But you have to start creating it, because everything starts energetically and then it will manifest. Most of the time you say, I want this, but you are so preoccupied with life, you are so stressed out that you don't have time to create. So normally you are only reacting, and we need to create to be able to manifest.
Okay, so the mission is about creating, or is that, no, that's create awareness is number 3. So the mission is about almost what I would call like visualization. So
Yeah,
you're
visualization.
visualizing yourself. Yep. You're putting yourself out there.
Mhm.
Now, I'm going to ask these questions because, well, as you would probably know, I've done a lot of this stuff myself. So I want to know, how long do you believe it takes if you are focusing on something or visualizing on something? How long do you think it's going to take for it to manifest?
Well, it takes as long as you uh, take to align your heart and your mind. Because sometimes we want it, I really, really want it, but then your mind says, but you don't have the money, but this is going to happen, but all the complaining, all the worries, all the things start coming out. So when that mind and the heart are not aligned, it takes longer. The faster you are able to align your mind and your heart, things start manifesting really fast.
Okay, cool. Because I have tested this theory. I am a theory tester. I told you I was a nerd. I am a theory tester, and I have tested manifestation, or visualization and manifestation.
Yeah.
I have tested that. It
And
did. It took me 6 months of almost daily awareness of it. Like thought pattern of it. But yes, basically, I transferred my home. It was $85,000 worth of changes that I just visualized. But I'll tell you all about that another time, because this story is about you. But yes, it does work. Okay, so we've got the clarity. We've got an understanding of what we want, which is really, really important. And that's what I did. It was like, I want to repaint my farmhouse, because I was on a 90-acre organic crop farm, and I knew I didn't have time to do that. So I had time to visualize it, though. So I got the clarity of what I wanted. Actually, I didn't really get the clarity of what I wanted, because I wanted a happy marriage. But I only saw it as let's repaint the house. Duh. So had the clarity, let's repaint the house. Had the visualization, started doing the work. Okay, so number three for you is create awareness.
Yes, yes. It's really important, because once you know what you want and you start creating it and feeling happy about it, you have to be aware if you are supporting yourself or you are your worst enemy. Because sometimes you are the one who break your dreams. You say, yes, I want that, but I don't deserve it. Yes, I want that, but oh, maybe it's not for me. Yes, I would be so happy to do this, but so it's about that mindset is helping you or not. So it's really important, because when we are aware of that is when you can change. Because sometimes we are not aware. You are not aware that that's the way that you talk to yourself. Until that moment that you create the awareness, you say, ha, now I know. It's me. It's me, the one that is self-sabotaging all my dreams. So then you start changing that process with more positive affirmation, with believing in yourself, with energy exercises that help you to maintain the vibration that is aligned with your vision and with your dreams. So you have the awareness to create. That's it.
Yes. Oh, I like that. I do like that. All right, and it's creating that awareness is so important. It's knowing that even when I was doing my visualization each day, it was like it was really funny, because I would visualize this room and visualize that room, and I visualized all of the house except for one room. And you know what? That one room didn't get changed.
Yes, because you were not able to have the awareness to put it in your vision. Exactly.
Absolutely. It did not occur to me to go in and do that room. So it was quite, yeah, it's quite funny. But there was times when you talk about the awareness that I would go, I am, when I'm visualizing this, I'm visualizing it with the wrong energy. It was becoming that negative energy, like that desperation energy, instead of going, it's gonna happen. Chillax,
Yes, that's also part of the awareness. If you're feeling Negative about your dreams, stop, go do something, take a nap, go do exercise, go outside, read a book, do something else, and then come back to your dream when you are more in a happy place. Because otherwise, negative energy, worries, insecurities drain your energy.
Yeah.
Happiness, appreciation, love increase your energy. So when you have the most energy is when you're able to physicalize your dreams. So
Yes.
you have to choose
Perfect.
what you're doing. You're taking energy or giving energy to what you want. So that's
Because it's always moving.
it's always moving, yes. So but you have the power to choose. But you have
Yes.
to be aware and catch yourself and say, oh no, this is not what I want in my life. Let me take a shower, relax, drink a coffee, something that you get out of that mood and
That
then
mindset.
come back, you are in a happy place. So you can
Yes.
really put
Yes.
energy, good vibrations into your dreams.
Right. Okay. So we've done that. Clarity. We've got the mission. We've created our awareness. Now we're looking at focus.
Yes. It is important that because when you want something really, really much, right? The mind will start going to what can go wrong. So it's important to always, always keep your focus on the solution and not on the problems. Yes, problems will come because that's part of life, right? But you have always to focus your energy into, yes, this is happening. How can I solve this? Because if you allow yourself only to focus on what is wrong, what can go wrong, how difficult is this, guess what? It's going to be difficult. It's going to take so long for you to achieve whatever it is that you want. But when you go more with appreciation, okay, who can help me? With whom I need to talk with? What are the right thing or the most important thing that I need to focus on? Because that's another thing. Sometimes the right focus is about doing what is the most important at this moment. Sometimes we tend to do the easy things first, right? Because we think that we're doing a lot of things, but we don't deal with the main issue or the main situation. So once you do the most important, the rest will flow. But it's that awareness and remember to focus. Always check yourself. Is this the most important that I need to do right now? And I'm focusing on what can go wrong or I'm focusing on the solution. And that's the key to success. Because
Yes.
otherwise you keep doing things, but you don't get anywhere. That's
And I think this step is really, really important in the focus side of it. I think that step is really, really important because of the hiccups that we do have.
yeah,
And that's
and
what
that's
you're
normal.
saying. What are you focusing on?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
we
But you
every
cannot
area.
define your life by the decisions that you made in the past, which is
Yeah.
sorry, I'm jumping to the next step already. So
Okay. No, just wait. Wait a minute. All right, we're
yeah,
going to go to the next step in a
yeah,
minute because that's step number 5. But first of all, I just want, because of the listeners, not necessarily the visual watchers,
yeah.
a piece of cake, a simple recipe to guide you in reaching your dreams and goals by Carolina. Now, how do I say your second name?
Ayala.
Ajala.
Ayala. Perfect.
Ajala.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm really not good at names, and
You
I'm
are getting better and better every day in every
I
way.
know,
You see?
and that's where I've gone straight to the negative, haven't I?
You
See what
see?
we do? Yep.
It's yeah. Mhm.
And I guess it's a bit of an awareness that I know that that's one of those little things that I do have an issue with. But I also know that being on the podcast and having different people, I am getting better at
Yes.
being a bit more confident in saying names, even if I get them wrong.
Yeah. The thing is that you are trying, you're putting all your effort and your love to do it better. So that have to be, we jump to another chapter, which is the celebration. Those small words towards yourself is a small celebration of your
Absolutely. Hey,
process.
yeah, but you are jumping ahead again. It's a piece of cake, a simple recipe to guide you in reaching your dreams and goals by Carolina. You say,
Angela.
yeah.
Right? Angela. Yeah,
Because
I
it sounds so much nicer when you've got an accent.
yeah.
So, but anyway, that's all right. So we've done clarity. We've got an understanding of what we want. We've looked at the mission, which is about visualization and how we, like what it feels like when we get there. Then we create awareness. So we're being aware of what's going on and what's happening in our life, because we will reach number 4, which is focus. And the focus is about being aware of those hiccups, those hurdles, those little love bumps that happen that allow us to assess and make sure we're focusing on the right thing. So the next step we're looking at is number 5, and it's decision.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that one.
Yeah. So every single moment of our life, we're making a decision. Yeah. Not making a decision is a decision itself. Okay.
Mm.
So it's important to remember that when we make decisions, we are trying to focus on what is the best thing that we can do right now, right? And we all make mistakes, and that's okay. But it's important to do not identify yourself with your mistakes in the past. Rather than that, it's better to say, what is the lesson? What did I learn that time that I did this, I didn't get the result that I want. What can I learn to do it better right now? So decision making means don't be afraid of making mistakes. The most important thing is to keep moving forward because it's part of the journey. It's like when you have a GPS. What happened if you make a wrong turn? It will say recalculating one moment, right? And then you are again on track. Same way. It's important for us to have those mistakes, but it's important also to keep making decisions. You cannot allow analysis paralysis. Sometimes we analyze so much and you don't do anything because the decision making has to come from, I know that this is what I want in my life. Let's go for it.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And I tell you what, I'm right into intuition, and intuition is all about decision making. And boy, oh boy, I've made quite a few ones that I would question. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And that's what life's all about. And if we don't make those decisions, like you were saying, if we bury our head in the sand, we are not going to be able to get to where our vision is. You're not going to see it when your head's buried in the sand. So we need to make decisions and sort of go, okay, well, learning from those. And one of the things you did say, which I really liked, is the fact that we'll often make decisions based on our past, which in reality, that's all we can do unless we're aware of it. And you've talked about that awareness, and you've talked about, making sure you're focusing on the positives and negatives. So even in step 4, when you're talking about focusing, what are you focusing on? When you make that decision, that's one of the things you need to say. What am I focusing on? I'm going to make this decision. What am I focusing on?
Mm-hmm.
Am I focusing on the positives or am I focusing on the negatives? Am I making this decision because it's a
Out of
positive?
fear or out of I want to move forward and I know that I deserve different lives and it's going to be so amazing. So what are you doing? What is the support that you are giving to your action, to your decision making, right? Is
Yeah.
because when it's a lower vibration, meaning fear, insecurity, worry, what other people will say, the result is nothing there. There is no energy. But when you do it with a positive energy and you know that it's going to happen, that it's possible, that you really feel it in your heart, and you know that it's not only going to be good for you, but it will be a win-win situation for so many people, then magnificent results. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you say that. It's so cool.
Mhm.
All right. So we've looked at the decision. And of course, number 6 is action, action, action.
Yes, because it's different to say I want to do this than to really do it. That's sometimes the struggle and the challenge for so many people, right? Because sometimes we know what we need to do. Of course that we know, but sometimes we don't do it, right? And that's part of self-sabotage, fear of success, fear of failure. So you keep delaying the actions that will get you to that dream, right? So it's really important to see the actions as I like to make the comparison like a harvest, right? You plant seeds every day, and at the end, you're gonna get the fruit, right? So every day you have to think, what are the actions, what are the seeds that I want to plant today to be able to achieve my dream, right? So sometimes the action is only to support yourself, to love yourself, to accept yourself, to say, really, really, this makes me happy. You're planting those seeds of love, so your dream will come true. Okay. So it's super important to understand what are the steps, what is next, what is the next action. Sometimes it's better to make small steps than trying to jump only in one jump, get to your dream, because that will sometimes bring you some frustration because sometimes we cannot jump enough, right? And then we say, no, I'm not good enough. And then you start going in that lower vibration of energy. So it's better to do small steps. And then, when you achieve something, you get that confidence, say, yes, I can. And then you go to the next step. And then when you realize, ta-da, you got your dream.
Right. I have to sort of, because when you're saying that, I just want to go back into when I was telling you about my visualization theory testing that I did. Now, again, we've gone through all that. The focus, I made sure I was focusing on the positive, how I wanted it to look and everything else. When it came to decision making, that's between the focus and the decision making was when I'd get a few hurdles, and I would my now ex-husband would say, "What are you doing?" And I'd say, "Oh, I'm just sort of, seeing what it'd be like to change the colours of the house and renovate the old farmhouse, And of course he would go, "Oh, we can't afford that," and rah rah rah, and start to put it down. So that when you're talking about the decision, well, my decision was, do I go back into his negative and go, "We can't afford it," and give it up? Or do I focus on the positive and go, "You know what? It's not hurting anybody for me just to be thinking positive, is it? In fact, it's probably a positive thing for me to be thinking positive." But when it comes to action, now I couldn't paint the farmhouse. I couldn't do any of that. So, but when it came to action, what I could do, and this is why I'm bringing this up, because there's so many different things we can do when we're doing this. What I could do is I used to go into the hardware store. I picked all the paint colors, not being able to paint, but I chose the colors. I went into the hardware store and chose the laminate that I wanted on the bench tops. I chose the handles on the kitchen. So I went through and actioned without actioning. If that makes sense, I
Totally.
applied it. Yeah.
You are bringing that vision into reality in small steps. You say, I went one day and looked for the painting. The other day I went for the laminate, the handles. So you divide the big step into steps. So it's easy for you to feel that you are accomplishing something, that you are getting there. And it's easy for you to later on, when it comes the moment, you say, yes, this is the color, because you know it.
Yes,
You're already
yes.
there.
And it was trusting that I was heading in the right direction. So I really liked that. And I'll tell you quickly what happened, because I'll be very quickly. So I'd done this visualization for 6 months, and about 6 months, and I checked the paint colors and everything else. We had this on the 4th of December. We had this huge storm go through the area, and it took our roof off.
Oh,
now. And I didn't know this, but we had new for old insurance. So anything that was a problem, we got it replaced with something new. And I remember standing in there, and the rain's coming through, and I've got an umbrella inside my house because the rain was just coming through the roof. And I remember saying to one of the guys, and I sort of the painter, or the guy that was coming in to fix it, and I said, "How long is this going to take?" And he goes, "Oh, it doesn't usually take long." He said, "What takes the longest is for everybody to pick their paint colors and decide what they're going to do, because it's happened as a bit of a shock and no one's prepared for it." Wow, I felt a little bit guilty then, because I was prepared for it.
You were ready. I mean, it happened because of something else, and the roof went down, but you got it. You already have everything planned. Yeah.
Yes. And the fact is, if I had sort of worked out how it was going to happen, I would have never ever thought that. I would have thought, "Oh, maybe we'll win lotto when I can get the house painted." I wouldn't have thought that I would go through a storm, and the storm was pretty scary, I can assure you. But at the end of it, it was like, oh my goodness, I am getting everything that I visualized.
It was a blessing in disguise. Otherwise, maybe it will take longer for you to achieve your goals. That's it.
Yeah. So I had to share that.
It's part of that. Sorry, it's part of that. It's not what is happening, but how you react and your perception of what is happening. That make a big difference into your decisions, into your actions, and everything. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we've done the action, and like I said, the action doesn't have to be painting the house.
No,
it is part of the steps to get towards it. Then we come to number 7, which is celebrate.
The best part, and most of us, we avoid it, or we just jump over, right? Because this is what happened. We are so used to that. I finished, now what's next? next goal that we even forget to accomplish and say, oh, wow, I got it. It's amazing. Let me celebrate for a moment, or at least to, feel it and enjoy it, because sometimes that's missing, right? And then we go, next goal. What is next? What do we need to do? But you don't celebrate. And the importance of celebration is that every time that you celebrate, the universe bless you with more. So if we understand that, you're going to be celebrating all day long, everything, right? Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, thank you, God. It's so amazing. That's a celebration, right? Or, wow, I was able to do this. Yes, right? So the more you celebrate, the more blessings will come your way. So it will be easier for you and faster to achieve your dreams. That's it.
And I love that, because when you think about it, when you're going to buy, say you're going to buy a new car, and you've gone through and you've done the research, and it's like, I want this little red car and it's got to be like that. All of a sudden, because you've acknowledged that, you celebrate, like you're not celebrating, but you're celebrating it in the fact that you're excited because you're going to get a car. All of a sudden, you see them all over the place.
Yeah.
And so when you're saying celebrate, because you're putting that energy there, you're going to start seeing celebrations all over the place. You're going to really bring it in, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and the celebration doesn't have to be like, oh, I have this, in front of everybody. It has to be an internal celebration, like a gratitude, like, wow, I'm so grateful. I got my new car. I was able to change this part of my house. Something that is really for you is the energy that of celebration, right? It's not to show off, but it's just to good job. You made it. All your effort. Now, these are the results.
Yes, you're acknowledging it. That's the main thing, yeah. And I love the gratitude. The gratitude is fantastic. Okay, a piece of cake, a simple recipe to guide you in reaching your dreams and goals. Make sure you have a look at the book. We are getting a little bit short on time. Now, is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we go, like about your business, how we can connect with you and that?
Yeah, well, you can go to my website, carolinaayala.com. And one of the most important things, if you take anything from this amazing conversation, is what you think you become. So it's really, really important to start analyzing and realizing how you talk to yourself, because that will change your whole life. So if you are able to start changing the complaining, the what if, for appreciation and gratitude for everything, and really enjoying life, you will see a big change in your life. And that's my dream for all of you.
That's lovely. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Super grateful. Thank you, Susan.
Don't go away. I'll chat with you in a minute, okay? So, guys, that is the show today. Jump on the website. Now, I will spell out Carolina's website so you know it is CAROLINA, then A again, AYALA. Okay, .com. Now jump on the website, and the link will be down below anyway. You can have a look at it there. But it's really worth it. I really enjoy these sort of books because I'm a little bit of a like a personal growth. I ran a personal growth expo for a couple of years before COVID hit here, and I really enjoyed it. And it's bringing together these types of people that can help us in these easy step-by-step ways. But when we say easy, they're never ever easy, but they're easy. Now, what I'm trying to say is the steps are simple to follow, but not always easy to achieve. Okay. And that's when you need somebody to bounce ideas off, somebody that is a coach, somebody that is there to bounce ideas from, a good friend that is, on the same wavelength as you. That's the best way to go. Or a coach. Although I don't like the word coach. Coach tends to be, they hold you accountable. That's what a coach does. Whereas I like to be classed as a mentor, which we sort of go, here's the information, you do with it as you choose, because it's your life. You decide that. Whereas a coach is a little bit more, it's got just a different energy feel to it for my liking. But when you are putting names and stuff down on Facebook and Google, you don't have big choices. You have to be called a life coach. But I would see Carolina as more of a mentor, because she's got that information to give to you and share with you, but she's not going to sit there and say, well, I don't like you because you're not doing it. You're out of the team, mate. She will be there to support you. So it's these sort of things that are really, really important for you. But that's me. I've carried on and talked long enough, I think. Next week, guys, join us for next week. Share, like, subscribe to the podcast. We would love to have you on board. There's lots of things happening. I've got a few more bookings, but I am moving home. So there'll be, a few changes in the background soon coming on, but that'll be fun. But for now, have a great week, and I will enjoy seeing you all next week. Okay, bye for now.